I think we were watching We Might Not Get Another Good MMO. This sounds depressing, but he might be right. Who is this guy? His name is Jimmy. Jimmy! Jimmy!
Trying basically every major MMO recently, and it got me
He's been trying.
thinking, and I might be the first one to ever have this thought, but I don't think we're getting another good MMO for a while.
Listen, I'm still high on hopes.
Other games that come out,
I'm looking forward for the Ashes of Creation. Maybe World of Warcraft 2, so I need to have hope in my mind.
they follow a very similar life cycle. A big mountain slope. You start out at the top, everyone's talking about the game.
Let's see what we have here. Okay. Okay. Pal World. What?
And
Oh my god, those are dead games. Ugh.
it kind of just slopes down and loses its player base over time. I mean, it's a typical life cycle for a game, very natural. MMORPGs, on the other hand, follow a very different looking life cycle. They come in all shapes and sizes. They might start out with a bang, they might start out at the bottom and work their way up. But basically, the way you know if an MMO is good and it had any sort of success, long term, over the span of many years, it kind of looks like a real fucked up EKG. Like it's the game's pulse or something. Never healthy or stable, but it's there, which is what counts. It's been quite a while since we've seen a real banger of an MMO. It kind of feels like the MMO industry has always just been
Wow, Guild Wars 2 was relatively big, man. 19.4 million. Final Fantasy, 53 million. RuneScape. But World of Warcraft, the king, man. Holy smokes. So Guild Wars is on the same par with Elder Scrolls. Look at this baby here.
been this game of King of the Hill, and the ones at the top
Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. It's not accurate.
have ascended so high that there's really no catching up to them. It's really
No.
hard to imagine them being dethroned, and there's not going to be many that try, because not only is developing a massive multiplayer
I think it's possible to create an MMO that is going to dethrone World of Warcraft, and it's going to dethrone like everything else if we get some sort of radical technology that it's so different compared to what we play MMOs right now. Let's say, for example, we get some sort of virtual reality world where you log in into the world and you can do whatever you like with less cost. Because you can do whatever you want in real life, right? You can probably travel and so on. Sometimes you don't have the money to do that, to have adventures and so on. But if we would get some sort of radical technology that is going to become cheap over time, and we would be able to log into a world and experience like things that we can experience. Like imagine if you could go into an MMO and travel through stars, literally, like to different planets, explore, and have them feel like it's real. That could be the next thing that would dethrone like World of Warcraft. I think we are limited in terms of MMOs by the infrastructure that we have.
your online role-playing game. One of the hardest things you can do as a video game developer, but it's also probably the dumbest thing you can do. The thing that got me thinking about this the most came from a situation that's been kind of brewing up over the last 3 years. In June 2021, Riot Games put a post up on their website calling for any game developers that are wanting to enter the world of MMORPGs with them.
Oh my god, the Riot. Not again. People got so hyped about Riot, and I was the only one who didn't care. I was like, nah, dude, I don't care. It's Ashes of Creation for me. And look what happened so far. Ashes of Creation, it's still in the game, while Riot, it's whoops, bait, bye-bye. But they got us, like, bye-bye. Guys, I know, like, I asked on my stream people to tell me if they think that Ashes of Creation is going to be good or if it's going to be shit. And the majority voted that it's going to be shit, and I don't understand why. Now, I've been following Ashes of Creation. Okay, I don't want to get into Ashes of Creation because the title of this video, it's We Might Not Get Another Good MMO. So, I don't want to give you hope. I don't want to fill you with copium. Maybe in a different episode. Make sure to subscribe. Ring the notification bell. We're going to talk more about future MMOs on this channel.
And this was amazing news because it's pretty common knowledge at this point that Riot Games tends to not miss. The things they've been making, pretty good. With the MMO
This is the first miss, and they set up a bad example, right?
community was welcoming them with open arms. If you've kept up with the MMO world in the last 3-4 years, you know that the community is kind of still waiting for that game to come along that's just going to change everything. There was no real official news released for the next 2 years. The only set-in-stone thing we got was that Greg Street, who was the producer of the project,
Ghost Roller.
the company. Pretty soon after, he announced that he was launching his own company, making his own MMO. It was just very disappointing because he was extremely involved in the community and just had a lot of indicators that he really cared about this and was going to do his best to make it an actual game-changing, enjoyable MMO. Obviously hope for the best. But now about a year later, there's...
Hey, if you want to experience a Ghost Crawler game, like Cataclysm, he was the lead developer, wasn't him? During a Cataclysm. Go do some nice Cataclysm dungeons, guys. Go do some Dead Mines, go do some Shadowfang Keep. Tell me your experience. Come back to the stream and tell me your experience.
There's whispers and rumors that this Riot MMO might not even be happening, which honestly would be the least surprising thing I've heard in the last 3 hours, at least. Riot Games has set a huge bar for themselves, which has raised everybody's expectations for everything they ever make. I can't tell you in confidence whether or not this game's happening or not. What I can tell you without a doubt is that it has been a bumpy ride behind the scenes. And if you'd like to see what Riot is most likely fearing, if you look up New World's player count history and see how that unfolds.
Man, you can't really compare New World with anything and call it as a standard, man. New World was no content. Holy fuck.
Unfolded, you can see just how risky it is to release an MMO in the modern era of gaming. I've got around 760 hours played on New World and was a part of the community during the rise and fall of it. And I also saw how quickly that new and refreshing ideas can completely drain the life out of a player base if done incorrectly. New World game design caught up with itself. Not really sure how long that game's gonna be up for. Probably some of the most fun I've had gaming during its peak. I really wish things were handled differently so that it wasn't in the condition it's in now. It was a good...
I don't know what happened, man, because New World had so much potential. The world was nice. The ideas were kind of... They weren't tested enough, I think. There were some big flaws there. Some of the big flaws were like you were having too many items in your bag, man. My bag was full of items and I was like, this is good for that. This is good for that. I don't even know. Oh my god. How can you have fun by pressing T abilities? Well, it is fun. It is fun because the world was immersive and so on. The sound system was perfect. It was fun, man. Like, ask everyone who played New World. They had fun in the beginning. You only started being bad once you got max level. It's like...
good game with some crucial things wrong with it ended up being the reason for its downfall. An MMO can only handle so many mistakes to the point where even a company that gets their funds from Amazon themselves can't really do anything for you anymore. So there's been some sprinkles of MMO here and there, a lot of underwhelming Kickstarter
Ashes
projects,
of Creation.
some that are in a permanent early access phase, ones that scam hundreds of thousands of dollars somehow. But in the last like
oh, Chronicles of Illyria, dude.
5 years, I think New World and Lost Ark are the only two MMOs that can claim they've had any kind of success. I've never played Lost Ark before. I tried...
It's pretty good. I put 1,400 hours in Lost Ark, but at one point you finish the game. It's too repetitive, too many doing the same thing every day. If I would log today, I would probably enjoy it. There's a new raid and so on. But I've completed like everything. I got like those island hearts. I don't know. I've done like leveled 10 characters to 1,500 gear score. And it came to the same thing. Every day do your chaos dungeons, your...
tried looking up some stuff to get some more insight about it, but just like any MMO you try to get information on, it's players that have hundreds or thousands of hours just complaining about things, not giving any real insight to the casual experience of the game. What I can tell you is that it's nowhere near competing with the top dogs of the MMO world. So
wow, so Lost Ark, it's only 15 million. So, wow.
Between Riot's situation and New World's
Mokoko grinds, yeah, we did that one as well.
Why is this so hard? What is going on?
Look, boys, this is the perfect image. RuneScape, it's an MMO. I don't think RuneScape, I never played it, but I can believe that probably there's no instant gratification in RuneScape. Is it? Is it true that RuneScape, whenever you grind, it shows that you have what you have grinded, right? I think some of the MMOs, what they're lacking is that even Season of Discovery, everyone wants to have everything. And I don't think that's healthy. I think some grinds should be hard. And you can't have everyone have everything.
Making an MMO has to be the most irresponsible, stupidest idea you could ever go through with. In the last 10 years, there have been 20 MMOs notable enough to make the Wikipedia page. And
let me check. So, New World, yes, played. Alien, oh my god. Lost Ark, played. Okay-ish. It's a good game. I mean, I can't say that Lost Ark was a bad game. It's good. Albion, guys. Oh my god. Where is Arcade? Why don't we see Arcade here? Black Desert, good game. Dude, Black Desert, you don't understand. At the peak of it, it was probably the best MMO experience ever. People don't know. Now it's kind of like retail. That's that.
All of those are still up and running. Obviously, there's been more than 20 MMOs released, but I'm just not counting the ones that Josh Strife Hayes finds buried in the deepest depths of the deep web that peaked at 23 concurrent players. They don't really count right now. It's definitely a dark age. Now, I would say when World of Warcraft went live in 2004, that is when the true golden age started. Some may say that when Ultima Online came out, it kind of changed the game. I don't really
Oh my god, for me it was...
MMO golden age existed without WoW. It doesn't feel right to me. WoW did for MMOs what Fortnite did to Battle Royales. Because you may have noticed once Fortnite saw success in its little side game mode of Battle Royale that wasn't even what they wanted their players to try, caused about 55 to 100 others to emerge. Once WoW...
Oh my god. WoW was our Fortnite. Oh my god, kids that are young nowadays, 20 years from now, will be playing still Fortnite. They will be playing Fortnite Classic, boys. They will be buying skins that they bought in the past again. No!
That you can build a long-term player base with as much success as it had, with as much money as it generated, not only with its initial launch in 2004, but with its expansions in 2007 and on. I mean, how do you not convince investors to let you try and build another WoW? So once this golden age started, much like the Battle Royale boom, we also got a few really, really good games to emerge alongside WoW. They're still here.
Lord of the Rings Online, I think people still play it, man. Age of Conan. Ooh, such a nice soundtrack here. Dungeons and Dragons Online and Guild Wars.
People playing them. We also got an overwhelming amount of stinkers, some real stinkers that are not around anymore. MMOs were peaking in the mid-2000s. It was the thing to do. It was the style of game that players wanted to play. Even the projects that saw short-term success but didn't really survive, some still to this day have community-backed projects, private servers, to keep the community alive. All these MMO games meant a lot to people. They proved to be this genre of game that you truly did become a part of. And even though the MMO scene was kind of slowing down in the late 2000s, early 2010s, games like Guild Wars 2 and Star Wars The Old Republic made their entry into the MMO scene and kind of picked up the stragglers that maybe weren't really happy with their games anymore or didn't really scratch the itch they wanted, and were still able to give a lot of players their home base of a game. 2013 unknowingly became the grand finale of MMOs. It was the year of revival, because in February we got old school RuneScape, and in August we got Final Fantasy XIV. Both of them existing for the sake of redemption. RuneScape's main game was at an all-time low. Final Fantasy's first MMO, like 3 or 4 years earlier, was a huge flop, so both these companies basically tried again. And now, 11 years later, it's safe to say that both of them did something right. confirmed. Since then, there's been a few notable MMOs that have come out, and they did okay. Elder Scrolls Online, Albion Online, Black Desert Online. These games are online, in case you were wondering. Lost Ark, New World, but none of them really.
Yes, 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 yes. I would say all of them were fun to play. Definitely.
Really made
Look, I have 8K hours here. I have 2K hours here. I mean,
impact
I have
we're probably hoping.
1K hour here.
All players interested in MMOs have kind of found their place and stayed there. It really is kind of like finding your home base, and that's just where you retreat back to at the end of the day. We're all kind of safe and cozy in our MMOs right now, kind of making the most of it. But even though the kings are up there on that hill, it doesn't mean they're resting up there comfortably. The wrong mistake could send them tumbling down at any moment.
Wait a minute. We might not get another good MMO. We're not even half through this video and he's starting to put copium in us. Is he talking about hope?
Profitable, successful games up there. They got up there with blood, sweat, and dev tears. A lot of mostly dev tears. We now have insight to another reason of why creating an MMO is a really dumb idea. Money.
Money. Honestly, like, listen, I think it's getting easier to develop MMOs than it used to be. Like, whenever they created World of Warcraft in early 2000, basically, they had to make their own programs to develop the world. But now you have like Unreal Engine. Like I've seen people doing with Unreal Engine, YouTubers making a game in literally weeks. A world with characters, with playable spells and so on.
Microtransactions have played a significant role in keeping these games alive. They've got to pay a staff to maintain and update and create for the game so that they keep their players there. They've got to pay for these massive servers. I don't even know how much those things cost. And also making sure that they meet the quota so that the very top executive owner of the company gets the salary that they've written for themselves.
The yacht.
Is Jagex milking their players?
Well, yeah, it's quite a big question.
And whatever they need to do to get there is what they gotta do. Subscriptions by themselves cannot sustain an MMO. It could pay for WoW in 2007 when everybody was paying a $15 a month subscription on top of buying a $40 expansion every other year. But even that caught up. They have a shit ton of microtransactions, and obviously that's more of a problem for the MMOs that make it big and they have all of these expenses. But any game that sees this big success is going to eventually run into this problem of how do we afford to keep this going. Back at my home base, I give Jagex a lot of money every year through subscriptions. I pay for—
What game is this one, guys? This is Jagex? What is this? Is this RuneScape? So 1 month it's $12. 6 months it's $60. 1 year it's $80. Whoa! You save so much, man.
my subscriptions on multiple accounts, as do other people, and Jagex makes millions off of players giving them monthly subscription money. But you may have noticed while we're over here frolicking in our flowers of—
Man, I should really try to play RuneScape, shouldn't I? Oh my god.
polls and community involvement and fun, our brothers and sisters over at RuneScape 3 cannot say the same.
Is Jagex actually this oblivious? We're in a time where RuneScape, at least according to the majority of the vocal player base, feels like it's being neglected, and as someone who's been covering the news and following the game actively for years now, I also think it's being neglected. How does a company with hundreds of employees and, according to the most recently released financial statements, £137 million in revenue, have the audacity to recolor a 3-year-old outfit and sell it as part of some kind of limited edition pack?
RuneScape 3 has been contaminated with regularly updated, toxic cash-grabbing microtransactions. It's experiencing increments of worse. Players just begging the devs to please stop, as if the devs have any control over it. RuneScape 3 is the soldier—
That's beautifully put, man. A lot of people think like, who's responsible for this? Classic development team. Oh, maybe not.
spreading its arms, protecting us from projectiles, while we sleep soundly, telling the devs that we're not fond of this idea they think they're having. But what I'm trying to say is that even old school RuneScape, as one of the most populated MMORPGs in modern gaming, only exists because RuneScape 3 offers microtransactions. Because what you've spent on old school RuneScape membership subscriptions in the last 6 years, 10 people spent that same amount yesterday on RuneScape 3 keys. Those are the players that Jagex needs, not you, not me. MMOs are expensive to make and they're expensive to maintain. Which, by the way, whoever over at Amazon Games thought that a one-time purchase of a $40 game was going to be enough to sustain a huge MMO, what are you doing? What did you think was going to happen?
They went extreme, like no pay to win, one-time purchase. Oh my god. Oh. Listen, I think the way you sustain those games, BDO had the correct way of doing it early on. There were things in the game called value packs. So that's like a subscription. You get some sort of benefits compared to regular players, non-pay. So the value pack was a good idea. Like a subscription, but you get some benefits, like less market tax and so on. Everyone will want it because they make a lot of gold with it. You need to put something out there so you incentivize people to pay.
Happen. And then who decided that microtransactions were going to be your next alternative, and this is what you have in the store? They practically begged to not make money.
What's fucking cracking, baby?
A player base.
The biggest problem that new MMOs are going to face are getting a true player base. Not the players that are there on day one seeing how long they can wait in a queue. Not even the ones that invest 200 hours and experience a little bit of endgame. I'm talking about the true player base. The
Long
player
term.
base that if your game shuts down, they will be on the front lines doing whatever they can to create their own version of your game, some sort of backup code to keep the community alive. Those are the players that you're looking for. They're there because they love the game. They're there for real. And those are going to be extremely difficult to get because chances are they already have that game. They're already a part of that community. And most of them aren't going to be feeling that way about multiple MMOs. At this point, new MMOs have to pull their player base from other MMOs. You're going to be trying to pull players from WoW and from Final Fantasy and from RuneScape and Guild Wars 2. The players that already know what they like and dislike about massive multiplayer online.
You know why Fortnite was so successful? It was pulling kids, boys, 9-year-olds. So that's where the player base went for Fortnite or for Minecraft and so on. If you right now check like Minecraft or Roblox or Fortnite, it's probably all the kids in the world, 9-year-olds.
Games, which means that by default, a new MMO is immediately competing with the top of that hill. Could you imagine?
And I think the MMO, the people that are playing MMOs are mostly like boomers. I mean, between 20 and 35 years old, let's say 40, right? That's your audience. I don't think you get 9-year-olds gonna log into a game which is like kind of complicated and requires a bit of, well, you don't have fun as soon as you start. You need to put some time into it, get to level 60 or whatever, run some dungeons, go through some challenges, complete some attunements, you know, finish some quest lines. No, he wants to join in and do a dance. Fortnite dance, yeah! If they don't have that, they're not going to play the MMO. Even the latest World of Warcraft expansion, if you look at the War Within, it's developed in such a way that it's made for kids, man. Like, I'm gonna have a lot of fun seeing like streamers playing the War Within, like 40-year-old streamers. Hey, I'm playing the World Within, yay! Savix and yourself are watching the same video and paused at the exact same time? Really? Wow. Another boomer. Oh no, Savix, I like him.
Imagine
I love Savix, by the way.
trying to enter that space and these are the guys you're standing next to, trying to gain their players, good luck. The best kind of player base to get for a brand new MMO is a new MMO player. Ones that haven't experienced the other ones yet, and you're going to be their first experience, which would mean trying to appeal to the iPad babies, the TikTok.
What did I just said? Exactly.
So fucking Fortnite Warzoners. You know, the ones that can't even hold their attention to short form content unless there is a video below the main content that has some car surfing on ramps so that their weird brains allow them to stay there. Dude, drop a 14-year-old into vanilla WoW Northshire and see how long it takes for their brains to start freaking out because there's not enough colors and numbers. The generation following us is not gonna really be interested in this slower paced MMO style that we fell in love with. Why would they run around Elwyn Forest or go kill goblins in Lumbridge when in that same time frame they could have had 3 adrenaline pumping Warzone games to feel dopamine from? They don't chase the same numbers going up that we do. It makes me wonder if the generation following us when they get to be
So
our age,
fucking
if they're
true,
going to be
man.
more interested in goal-oriented things like long-term MMO goals. I don't see new generations coming into MMOs, and I don't see current MMO players jumping to a new one when they've already established their community and love for one that they've been a part of for years. I think the current games that we have in the MMO space are going to remain there, at least for as long as both the players and the devs have that desire. In order for an MMO to take the reins, become the next big thing, to really
I think this is old school Black Desert.
be the game changer, it's going to have to be very outside the box. Never done before, a big risk. Chances are the next MMO to really overtake these or even see equal success as these hasn't even been thought of yet. But I just have this strange feeling that the next MMO that comes out that has 6 classes to choose from, a woodcutting skill, and 2004-ass fetch quests is not going to be the one to see themselves at the top of that hill with those. It's just a hunch. I don't know. This Ashes
Oh man, come on, don't ruin my Ashes of Creation hype. Can we skip this segment here? Starting to talk about Ashes of Creation. How can we skip? It's not long, it's only 1 minute. Okay, I'll watch it.
of Creation game I've seen talked about for like the last 3 years is supposedly going to be the MMO that changes everything. They had this dev blog come out at the end of March, and I was like, okay, you know, this looks cool. And on the side of the screen, I see some quests about killing 20 goblins. And I'm like, no fucking way that this is the revolutionary thing. The next big MMO is not gonna have kill 20 goblins as a fucking quest, I promise. They've already lost in my eyes. There's just no way another one of those is gonna be the one to be up there. No. There's a few things that I believe the next big MMO needs to do differently. I think the #1 priority is to come up with a structure
My forehead is so shiny.
eliminates the locust swarm effect. Finish this as fast as possible. Get to max level as fast as possible. Get to the end game, the best in slot, the min-maxing as fast as possible. It's a real shitty habit that we've developed with video games, especially MMOs recently. I think it's played such a big
I know, dude. Why do you think streamers? It's not streamers, man, because even people that don't stream, I know people that don't stream that always try to get world first or take 3 weeks off whenever MMO is released. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to consume all that content like I'm eating 3 jars of ice cream. I'm not gonna stop until I get fucking diabetes. Why do we play those metas? Why do we play so much? Actually, I managed to do it in Season of Discovery. I haven't played that much, man. I was like always behind and I was able to enjoy the game much more. Phase 1 of Season of Discovery, Phase 2, and now even Phase 3. I only got 2 characters, guys, that I played. That's it. I enjoy playing them. Sometimes I log, I play for a while. Sometimes I take 3 days off, I don't log at all. Sometimes I miss my weekly raid. Like, for example, this week I haven't done it on my mage. I don't give a shit. You know what? I don't give a shit. Fear of missing out is one hell of a drug? I guess so. The metas and fear of missing out, it's... people think that they're going to have less fun, but what they do instead by playing so much, they become miserable. They enjoy the game less. They start complaining. But I can assure you, if you can detach from the fear of missing out in the metas, you're probably going to enjoy the game 2 times more, 100% more.
Role in the overall downfall of MMOs, why everything feels underwhelming now. Unfortunately, I think as long as a game structure exists that allows for that kind of mentality, it's not going to find the success that it would have found back when we weren't playing games like that, in the golden age of MMOs, when things were actually enjoyed. That's why we want to play games solo now. It's why you can get from level 1 to 70 playing by yourself in WoW. And that's not going to make for a successful MMO. You might as well just make a single player game. Other MMOs would benefit a lot by trying a more RuneScape style quest system, where it feels almost like a mission with a lot of benefits afterwards, rather than just the same generic copy-pasted coding of a quest of going and getting 10 mushrooms on a tree and bringing it back for XP. It's the reason why a game like RuneScape, which people have always poked fun at its graphics, feels more alive than a game with fucking Unreal Engine 5. It's the way it feels when you're a part of
The thing with quests, I'm starting to think that some sort of storyline quests are much better than just the generic go kill 20 things quest. Like, for example, I would like a long quest chain with 100 quests, even if some of them are killed, even if some of them are travel and talk to someone, finding like small lore between them. But it must have some big reward at the end. Because if I'm going to go to 100 quests, I need to have something at the end that it's worth it.
that world. And I think a lot of MMOs kind of look the other way when it comes to structuring things like that. They're too scared to try something else for progression. I don't know, they just play it too safe. The world has to feel alive, and everyone's end goal can't be the same. I'm not a game dev, I'm just a consumer. I complain. My role here is to complain. I'm not the guy. If I knew what this next MMO looked like, I would be trying to make it. I promise you I would. I don't think any current game devs have really wrapped their head around what it takes to bring an MMO to the next level, but I think with a lot of emerging game engines and technology we're capable of now, we're eventually going to see that thing that really makes our eyes widen and our mouths salivate. It's gonna happen. Could be a year from now, 10 years from now. Our generation of MMO players, probably the only generation of MMO players, are going to be looking for that game, and we'll know it when we see it. But for now, I think we're just gonna be cozy in the games that we play. For a more optimistic look, I think if RuneScape has taught me anything, other MMOs have really not experimented with shit. They have not really opened up the sandbox of themselves. The fact that World of Warcraft just recently released a hardcore version after it took someone developing an entire plugin to do it just kind of shows how they haven't really tried shit yet. And the fact that
Boys, we made hardcore happen, you know? Like, literally, we were playing hardcore, 10 people we were on a server. We had a small guild. And we made hardcore happen. And not the developers, the community. And hardcore was striving for a while. It wasn't Blizzard with people being paid $100,000 salaries. Head game designers and shit like that. No, a bunch of nerds playing hardcore.
they just tried a battle royale is even funnier. They're trying, you know, we'll
Man, the battle royale was so cringe. I logged for one day. I jumped once or twice and I was like, no freaking way. Like, I played battle royales, man, and they were good. Like, I even played battle royales with spells and mages and warriors and stuff like that, like Realm Royale. Superior to this, man. This was like a joke. Do people still play Plunderstorm? I haven't heard anything about Plunderstorm lately, but holy shit, man. You liked it? Wow.
give it to them. Blizzard's trying. They might be 10 years too late to the battle royale boom we mentioned earlier.
That means you are on this side. I mean, obviously half of the people is going to like something and half not.
But they're
It ended, no one plays, like dead entirely, right? There was even a $50,000 tournament or something for Plunderstorm. Insane, man, insane.
we've got to give them that credit. Blizzard has done everything in their power to self-destruct, and they're still standing. It's incredible. If they're not going down by now, they're never going down, all right? That company's here to stay, which gives me confidence that other MMOs will be here to stay too. So we don't really have...
You know what's weird? It's much easier to take Cataclysm and to make it re-release it again. You would probably make more money than creating a new MMO. So Blizzard, by re-releasing all 3 expansions, plus Hardcore, plus whatever they do, now Season of Discovery, by rehashing content, they're doing less investment, and they're making more money than they would make by releasing a new MMO. That's how crazy it is.
Have anything to worry about when it comes to our favorite games, our cozy home base being gone. And I think a lot of MMOs need to take advantage of this world that they've created and the different capabilities their engines have, and look and see how they can approach things differently, like RuneScape has with hardcore modes, Iron Man modes, and region locks with leagues, restricted game modes, challenges, people like watching challenges. And I think a lot of the big MMOs nowadays have the ability to implement something like that to keep their current active player bases occupied and entertained for a long time. And all that being said, I truly hope I look like an idiot a week from today when that next big thing is announced.
Please,
I hope
please,
I'm wrong.
I want you to look like an idiot. Please.
I really do. I think there's a future for MMOs, and we'll all be here for it. Anyway, I think that's all I got. I've been putting together the house video. It's just 5 days of a lot of footage. It's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. I also have a special project I can't really talk about right now, but I'm working on that beginning of May. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. Great seeing you. Take it easy.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. We appreciate that. We guys give you a link from Jimmy. I think he's part of the RuneScape community. I never heard about him before, but hey, he's making a good point, though. How many views does this video have? 162,000 views, but he's a big channel. Anyway, here is the link from Jimmy. Make sure you leave some comments down below. Let us know if you think there's going to be a good MMO in the future. If not, if you have some high hopes for things like Ashes of Creation and maybe something else, World of Warcraft 2. Remember to subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell. We're trying to reach 1,000 subs on this second channel of mine. I think we are 600 and something into. Find us live at twitch.tv/frostadamus. We are here with the rest of the guys. Look, they're above here. Guys, say something to the guys on YouTube. Tell them to subscribe and all the benefits you get from subscribing. And it's also for free. And by the way, guys from YouTube, tell to the guys from the Twitch to start using Twitch Primes, because... Oh, Jimmy. That was a long video, 21 minutes, but it was nice to watch. I like his style of making videos.